It's so good to be here with you, Anne and Jenny, at the Kinnarps stand here at ORGATEC 2024. I've heard a lot of good things when I've been out and about in the halls about their stand, about the real sense of conviviality, but also kind of the softness and the fact that people want to spend time here. So this is great. I wanted to give you that compliment first.
Thank you, Simon. It's nice to have you here too.
And I just, for people who maybe don't know you, I'll just run through who you are. Anne Cederwall, you're Director of Global Marketing Communications at Kinnarps, or Kinnarps, I should say. I think that's the correct pronunciation.
That's correct. Yeah.
And Jenny Hörberg, you're the Director of Global Range and Design, and also the MD at Materia Group. And we are here today under the banner of holistic ergonomics. Let's just start with a very simple question, which is, what do you mean by that? What is holistic ergonomics as opposed to just ergonomics?
Holistic ergonomics is where you take the holistic view and the experience of a whole space. Yeah, you have to consider the physical part, you have to consider the social part and the organizational part, and everything has to be in harmony to get a good experience of a space. It's not enough to have a good chair, or if you have the light in your face, or it's too hot, or if you don't have the tools you need. So it's to look at the holistic thinking of a space, so you can be perform in a good way, that you have everything you need.
Which comes first then, the physical part or the social and organizational part?
I wouldn't say you could choose, because you need them all. You cannot just take one and then skip the other, because it's connected. It goes hand in hand, and you need them both. Otherwise, you cannot perform. So I would not say it's one or the other. You need them both.
Definitely.
What do you say?
Yeah, definitely agree.
Yeah.
Tell me a bit about the process then of working with a new client, say an architect or an office planner. How would you go about it? What are the kind of milestones in developing a project? Because it sounds to me like you're doing more than just supplying products, right?
Yes, we do. And first of all, for us, it's important to understand the client or the customer, what are their challenges, what are their pains, what's the vision, what they want to do in their office, what do they want to achieve. Because if you don't know that, I mean, you cannot just put out interiors and make a space where you don't know where you want your staff to move. So I think it's very crucial that you, together with the customer and the management, decide this is the direction of our company, to understand their needs.
So you're a competence partner then. As much as anything else, you're offering consultancy. This is a value that's added to the specification experience then for architects and office planners.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we definitely do consultancies if it's a bigger change. I think that's preferred, actually, to really dig into what the pains are, what the future visions are for the company and for the workspace. But in the shorter term, we also ask questions together with the customer, but it's always in collaboration with the customer and with the company, because it's really up to them how you want to change it and what the pain is today, but not only today, in 1 year, 2 years, or perhaps in 5 years, because you need to think about, if you're going to make a sustainable solution also, you need to think about the future needs. So, and then there are other things you need to consider in order to have a really good solution.
And the products that you develop and launch are have this ability to be specified, to be implemented in a kind of system fashion. I mean, this goes to the idea of kind of trying to think, what are the future needs going to be of a particular organization. You're not in the game of selling an individual product. Of course, you can to a private client, but particularly for office spaces, for hybrid kind of workspaces, you want to help specifiers think about how to use your products in a systemic kind of programmatic fashion, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. So And it's a lot of things to consider. I mean, you need to consider, the first thing you need to do is which activity is going to happen. And then you have the future thing to think about. So, okay, today we need this activity to going on in this space, but tomorrow we will do another thing. And in 5 years we probably do something else. And perhaps you have a vision where you want to have more collaboration. You have a request perhaps from the employees to have more focus work, to come back to the office, to be able to focus. Then you need to consider all of these things when you create the solution. So if you ask yourself that type of questions, then you can choose the right interior solution where you actually can update, you can change it, you can add features as, for instance, you can add armrests, so you have a more longer seating range in the meeting rooms. We also have modular systems where we actually can change the full from a meeting to a more lounge area. We can update the task share, for instance, with a neck rest if you need to sit more hours. All of these ergonomic features. But it's all in collaboration with the customer. So when we develop new products and solutions, we always come from the activity and the pain of the customer, and we ask ourselves, okay, what kind of requests and pain could we have? And then we develop this type of solutions, and then it boils down to a product, and we call it design with a purpose. So it's not only beautiful with the eye, because of course it needs to be beautiful with the eye as well, but it also needs to be functional. And I think that's timeless. Then it's timeless. So this is really about taking a lot of time to develop the right product, but also taking time to choosing the right solution. I mean, we put so much effort in develop our products. Please put effort into talking about this, to put it in the right context together with the customer. I think this is super important.
And I think that's why it's so important to do this analyze together with the customer to understand their needs. And what kind of flexibility do they ask for? What do they need? How do they foresee their future in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years? And because if we know that, it's easier for us also to help them with a recommendation, so they don't invest. So they invest long term in a sustainable solution that works for them over time. And if you invest in a sustainable solution that works over time, it will be good economy as well, a good investment
and good for environment, of
and
course.
Good for the environment as well. So I think that's very important. It's crucial that the more you know in the beginning of the process to get the better solution,
and the more sustainable that solution is.
Definitely.
And as you were saying, Jenny, the building out of aesthetic or stylistic obsolescence by creating products that have they're considered in terms of color, materially, texturally, and so on, that people will want that users will want to use for a long time.
Exactly.
And then to be able to adapt the functionality of those pieces by adding armrests, by adding neck rests, and so on is all part of this bigger sustainability picture.
Definitely.
It's not one thing. It's all of this together. What would you say to people who might argue that this is just too comfortable? We're talking here about creating spaces that are for spaces of creativity, yes, of collaboration, but also ultimately for businesses of productivity. Is there a danger here that we might tip too much into creating these wonderful places of work that are too comfortable, that might have a negative impact on actually us kind of producing?
I think it's a good question, because I think it's a lot about attitudes and mindset, and of course we have seen that after the pandemic and so on, that we have been worked a lot from outside the office. But I think it's important because the office or the workspace is somewhere where we meet. And it's also good for the branding, the employer branding, because the office also needs to be a place where you can attract people and retain competence. And I think that's extremely important too. So you have to find a balance, not too comfortable, but it has to be comfortable. But what is comfortable? I would rather say it's you have to have office that works for people, because at that point you can be productive, effective, and creative.
And we also talk a lot about safety, like feeling safe is feeling comfortable. So, for instance, now we're sitting in a chair with a high back. So if people were passing by, I would feel safer with talking to you, not being distracted or feeling safe in this zone. So I feel you should feel safe to do your task, whether it's a meeting, it's a lounge area, or it's your own workplace. Then you are comfortable. But of course, it's not supposed to be all rest beds and sofas. I mean, that's not efficient enough. So it's all about also what you need to produce in order to actually do your work. Yeah.
I mean, Sheryl Sandberg famously wrote that book called Lean In. It's called Lean. It's not called Lie Down. So
exactly.
Want to be alert. I mean, it sounds like there's some really, really valuable conversations that go on with clients before the solution is delivered. Do you ever keep track of the spaces that you've helped shape after they've been completed? Is there a kind of feedback loop as part of your research?
Yeah.
Yeah, we always include, if we do an analysis, the full analysis, we always include a follow-up, because it's very important, because sometimes it could be as easy as you have not informed exactly how this space is supposed to be used. You don't know how the product is supposed to be adjusted after your body or how you intended to use it. But it's also, we need to confirm that we have succeeded with this solution, of course. So it's important for us not just to provide products, it should be successfully together with the customer. So of course it's super important to follow up, and we can see in a lot of follow-ups that it's a big change when you get the employees involved and the management involved. We have always seen that we have increased well-being, productivity, and in the company. So
and also to educate how to use the environments, the different activities, and we can also help them to write we call it a playbook. It's a little bit of rules and policies and etiquettes, how to behave in the area or how to use the environments and so on. And I think that's important as well to succeed. It's not just to drop a lot of interiors and then leave, and we also make sure that that our clients know how to use these spaces.
Yeah, and I mean, usually you don't say to a colleague like, oh, please, can you take the call in another place? Perhaps you become uncomfortable or don't want to create a conflict. So with this playbook, as Anne is talking about, then you set the rules. It's okay to actually tell your colleague, in this zone, we don't take telephone calls. You need to go to the semi-focus zone,
focused.
not to the high-focus zone. So it's a way of actually getting all the rules accepted and agree on the same level, and it will help the company to actually be more efficient and feel safer.
Yeah, I mean, this kind of the physical landscape of the space reflects the rules that have been agreed by the organization as a whole.
Yeah.
And having, as you say, having that buy-in from management level is
that's
absolutely
crucial. I would say it's crucial to succeed.
I mean, you're experts in this field. How do you stay ahead of the curve when it comes to shifts in work culture and in behavior in workspaces? How do you, or workplaces? Sorry. How do you inform yourselves?
There are several ways. Like now we talked about these discussions we have with the customers. That's the most important intel, I would say. Have a dialogue with the customers, see what their pain, what the need is. The analysis would give us a lot of information back, but we also, of course, collaborate with the researchers within these different areas that are affecting the workplace, ergonomics, all type of experts. So
universities.
Yeah,
and,
definitely. So we use a lot of different partners to actually get ahead of, but it's really about not what they're saying, it's about creating something more innovative. We always have a type of curiosity. This is also part of our DNA. We are still a family-owned company from 1942. Right. So, and this is part of the base. They actually were very curious in finding a new, better solution all the time. And I think this is how we try to stay ahead, to keep the curiosity.
And we have built up with such a huge experience also in-house. And also by what you just said, to be curious, that's the key, to do something a little bit better you should never be satisfied, because you can always improve things, and those small details makes the difference in the very end. And I think that's something I really enjoy with our company, that you can always do some more. And
It's
never
great,
ends.
because having seen the visitors, having observed visitors here at the stand and seen the curiosity in their faces as well, being here, I think clearly you're doing the right thing. Before we go, I just want to ask you one bonus question, as it were. Blankets. If I said to you blankets, because this is very specifically Kinnarps, and I heard about this years ago, and then I saw a picture and I thought, this is so obvious. Explain this to our viewers. Blankets.
Blankets. We love blankets.
Yes.
Yeah, because the story behind it is very long, and it's amazing. But we wrap our products with blankets instead of putting them in cardboard boxes and plastics or whatever, because this is to get rid of waste. And we also, when we wrap our products in blankets, you can put them in the trucks. You don't deliver air, so it's also for the environment. But when we are done, we just bring the blankets back and reuse them over and over again. So we save a lot of.
You've been doing this for years.
Years, and also for the customer, because when we enter their doors, we just they are able to use the interior directly, because we don't need a lot of space to wrap up. And it goes quick and fast and minimize disturbance at the customer.
Absolutely.
I think it's such a good idea.
It's very cool, and it takes this is like a extra fact. It takes over a year to get fully trained to pack this truck.
Oh, really?
So these are really
It's like
skilled people.
Tetris or
It's
something.
like Tetris, yeah.
It's
and
like a Tetris.
They are really skilled
So
people.
when the industry needs 3 containers, we can get the same amount in 2 containers.
Yeah,
Because of
fantastic.
that specific, we don't.
Yeah, we save 250 kilos of
We need you. They
weight.
they need you for the Tokyo subway.
Yeah.
Just like to fit as many people into carriages as possible.
Exactly.
Fold them.
Yeah, no, I just love it. This is amazing. I
Yeah,
think
it's a cool story.
Yeah,
It's a cool story. And that's part of the DNA, like to try something extra. It didn't work the traditional way. Let's find another way to solve the problem.
Yeah, that's a prime example. Our time is up, unfortunately. Anne and Jenny, it's so lovely to see you, and thanks so much for your insights. Amazing, and see you next time round.
Thank you, Simon.
Thank you,
Nice
Simon.
to talk to
Thank you.